Hi. Pakistan and Afghanistan haven't been on good terms since the birth of Pakistan in 1947. Afghanistan was the only nation that voted against the admission of Pakistan to the United Nations because of the Pashtun issue. In this video, I will explain the relationship between Pakistan and Afghanistan over the years and what led to this strained cooperation between these two nations. Let's begin. The Durand Line, named after Sir Mortimer Durand, runs through what is now the border between Pakistan and Afghanistan. However, its legitimacy has been a source of contention between the two nations for decades. The south and east of Afghanistan and the north Balochistan region of Pakistan are inhabited by the indigenous Pashtuns who belong to different Pashtun tribes. The Sikh Empire initially conquered these regions from Afghanistan, primarily consisting of the northwestern frontier, including parts of the Peshawar Valley. After the Britishers captured the Sikh Empire, Afghanistan made claims on the territory captured by the Sikh Empire during the Sikh-Afghan War. Britishers refused to accept these claims, and Afghanistan ceded these territories to Britishers after the Second Anglo-Afghan War. In 1893, the Durand Line Agreement established the order to fix the respective spheres of influence and created the then Indo-Afghan border. However, after the independence of India, Afghanistan didn't recognize the Durand Line and stated it as the agreement made between the Britishers and the previous Afghanistan regime, which doesn't hold any validity in today's period. In 1949, the Pakistan Air Force carried out airstrikes targeting militant camps in the border regions, including an Afghan village. This military action was a response to unrest led by E.P. Fakir, who advocated for an independent Pashtunistan. The situation escalated into border clashes in 1949-50, marking a notable period of tension. On September 30th, 1950, Pakistan alleged that Afghan troops and tribesmen had crossed into Balochistan, a Pakistani province. Over 6 days, Pakistan repelled the incursion. Despite Pakistan's claims, the Afghan government denied direct involvement, asserting that the individuals in question were pro-Pashtunistan Pashtun tribesmen. This incident heightened existing hostilities and further strained relations between the two nations. Afghanistan relations were not great with Pakistan in the 1950s over the border issue and sought to improve diplomatic relations with India and USSR. In 1955, there were attacks on the Pakistan embassy in Kabul, which halted diplomatic relations between these two nations for a short period. Despite the King of Afghanistan, Zahir Shah, tried to improve relations with Pakistan, he always raised the Pashtun issue, which put his efforts in vain. Afghanistan leaders also made speeches to provoke the Pashtun people in Pakistan to cause insurgency. These provocations strained relations between Pakistan and Afghanistan in the 1960s. In the 1970s, the momentum of the Pashtunistan movement gradually waned as the populace increasingly identified with Pakistan. Over time, Pashtun assimilation into the Pakistani state became more pronounced, reflecting a period of growing Pashtun influence in the country's politics and bureaucracy. This culmination was evident in the leadership roles assumed by prominent Pashtuns, such as Ayub Khan, Yahya Khan, and Ishaq Khan, who all rose to the highest echelons of power in Pakistan. The relationship started to improve during this period, but deteriorated again in the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. In the 1970s, Afghanistan did host Pashtun and Baloch militants who were opposed to the Pakistani government. In retaliation, Pakistan started supporting Islamist movements against the Afghan government. After the Soviets established their puppet government in Afghanistan, Pakistan started supporting Islamist groups, including the Mujahideen, to resist the Soviet-backed Afghan government. The U.S. also joined Pakistan in providing support to Afghan Mujahideen groups. After the withdrawal of the Soviets from Afghanistan, Pakistan kept supporting these groups, and in 1992, Kabul fell to the Mujahideen, leading to the establishment of the Islamic State of Afghanistan. It had good relations with Pakistan but it was an unstable government as Mujahideen was a coalition of several factions. When these factions started to fight with each other for power, Taliban emerged as a strong contender in this power grab. Pakistan Intelligence Agency, ISI, supported the Taliban, which eventually came to power in Kabul in 1996. The Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan emerged and established close relations with neighboring Pakistan. However, Pakistan's support for the Taliban shifted after the 9/11 attacks in 2001. In the aftermath of the attacks, the international community, led by the United States, demanded that the Taliban hand over Osama bin Laden, who was residing in Afghanistan and was linked to the planning of the attacks. Pakistan, under pressure from the international community, shifted its stance and became a key ally in the US-led war on terror, leading to a significant change in its relationship with the Taliban. Pakistan also cooperated in intelligence sharing with US and conducted military operations in its border regions. However, there have been persistent allegations and suspicions that elements within the Inter-Services Intelligence, ISI, maintained covert links with certain Afghan Taliban factions. Critics argued that Pakistan's dual role allowed it to hedge its bets and maintain influence in Afghanistan after the eventual withdrawal of US forces. Some accused Pakistan of playing a double game by supporting the US coalition publicly while clandestinely aiding elements that were working against US interests. This deteriorated relations between Pakistan with Afghanistan's new government after the US invasion, and they openly started to accuse Pakistan of supporting the Taliban from behind. This also negatively affected Pakistan's relations with US. To improve its relations, Pakistan started to help injured Afghan soldiers on the border. After fall of Kabul in 2021 and Taliban coming back to power in 2021, Pakistan once again sought to establish diplomatic relations with Taliban. In April 2022, Islamabad called on Kabul to enhance security measures along the Pakistan-Afghanistan border and take decisive actions against individuals engaged in terrorist activities targeting Pakistan. Subsequently, the Pakistan Air Force conducted air raids along its border with Afghanistan, asserting that the operations targeted Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, TTP, militants operating in the border's porous regions. Pakistan also decided to deport 1 million Afghan refugees who don't have legal residence status. This created a negative reaction from Taliban against Pakistan. Taliban sought to have good relations with India and again opened the issue of the Durand Line, which is a concern for Pakistan. Currently, frequent border clashes are the new normal on the Durand Line. That's it for this video. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There will be more informative videos like this in the future, so stay tuned.